Okay. First, an update from Gitty. She's back in the hospital.
She is not feeling so well.
Doesn't feel so
I was
good.
in the hospital last night with my husband, so I had to wait. I called and she said, could I come over for a few minutes? I'm in the hospital anyway.
Yeah, she didn't want. I know.
Well.
I asked her the same.
She didn't
last
feel
week,
well
she didn't
enough to
wanna-
have company.
I told her, even for 20 seconds, I'm gonna come.
Yeah. Okay. Be'ezrat Hashem. Yerushalayim. So Gitty back older. Yeah, call her. You could call her. No, don't call to. Don't call to ask to come.
Because of all the presidents and kings and whoever.
Oh, let's talk about the presidents and kings. Let's talk about all the presidents and kings coming to Yerushalayim Kodesh. The first thing I thought about when I woke up this morning was I looked out to see the weather, and I'm thinking, I would like them to see how beautiful Eretz Yisrael is, and all they're going to see is rain and dreary, and so.
Depends on the country they come from.
Yeah. So but still, I wanted them to see. So I just want to show you something really, and I consider it incredibly fascinating. So let's first give a haksama, an introduction that yesterday already started coming all this 50, 40, nobody knows exactly the exact number of heads of state, presidents, vice presidents, prime ministers, princes, all those kinds of people. And they're coming here because tomorrow is I think it's the English anniversary, not the Hebrew, of the 75th year liberation of Auschwitz. So they're coming here to make a photo op. Forgive me for those kings and princes who are going to be watching this video and who are coming here, l'shem shamayim. I'm apologizing. But the bottom line is, it's a photo op. It's like to make a statement. It's to sort of like say, oh, we're not so bad. We're, after we tried to kill you, and now we're sort of like coming and saying,
They never stopped.
Right.
It's a photo of a survivor, a 95-year-old.
Yeah, there's plenty
He
of.
wanted to come, and they said no room.
Oh, really? Okay, so.
95-year-old guy who survived
And where is he coming from?
death march. No, he lives in here in Israel, and he wanted to come
wanted
to
to go
the
to
Yad
the-
Vashem, and they said no room.
Okay, so that's not nice. Whoever made that decision and is listening to this video, that was not a right decision. You have to let everybody who wants to come. But whatever it is, that's what's happening. So here, the Lamaisa for all Jews in Jerusalem, and actually from Chutz Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, if you want to come in, is that there's crazy traffic, and there's empty roads, full roads. And with the rain yesterday, there was empty roads and full roads and pekakim, and so I want to talk about that, but I want to just to show you how miduyak, how precise Hashem is showing us He is. So that about 3 weeks ago, the people who were learning Daf Yomi made a Siyum Mashas, and it began all over again. The machzor, the cycle began all over again. And now this machzor, I'm going to just tell you, I don't remember the last cycle. I don't remember the day after it. Was there such a big hype? Was it so exciting? I don't remember it being that way because I don't know. I don't remember it. Afal pichein, dafka, if it was in the summer, people a little bit have more time and the weather is nicer and you don't have to sit in the stadium with your 10,000, layers on it. Whatever it is, this time it became such a strong, there's a propellant that is actually pushing, and this is just a completely subjective opinion, pushing Klal Yisrael to the next level of commitment to Daf Yomi, or to learning anything new. And because Hashem in His kindness made brachos the first Masechta, and that's not such a hard one, and it has lots of statements in Chazal that we're familiar with throughout Chazal, through Midrashim, etc. So it's not a hard one. If they would have given if the first Masechta would have been like Kodshim and Taharas, which sound very complicated, I don't think anybody would start. But no, brachos is a good one to start with.
New people started.
Thousands of people, not just that, but I'm going to tell you something funny. I don't have Facebook, but my cousin does. So every once in a while, I look on her Facebook, and there's a group called, I forgot exactly the lashon, something like "Say anything you want about the daf." It's a women's group, and anybody who's learning daf yomi, women can, just put up a Dvar Torah, a little comment, something on that daf. There's, at the last count, was at least 1,000 women. And if you look on the pictures of them, there's Haredi, there's every color, shape, form, age, hair covering, lack of, everything on that group. And I read some of the comments, very insightful, interesting comments, that there are women who have started learning brachos, and you know that there's definitely a heter for that, and I'm not going to go into the halachic, the opinions of it, but there are women who are doing this, and they're enjoying it, to the point where there's, again, because I'm afflicted, Baruch Hashem, with internet, in my job I use it, so people send me jokes, because they know I like to laugh. So somebody sent me a joke that some Jewish comedian, now there's a new genre of comedians, again, because you're all holy women in your little world, you don't know these things, but I know these things. So there's a genre of frum comedians, yeshivish guys, who get up and do stand-up comedy at different things, and there's like a bunch of them now, a few, 3, 4, I don't know, maybe how many. And one of them, and they're machadesh jokes, they make up jokes, not like you're saying a repertoire of somebody else's jokes. They make up frum jokes. So the frum joke going around that one of my students sent me is that in the next cycle of Daf Yomi, the comment will be, Daf Yomi, that's such a vibisha thing to do. Vibisha, that's like a women's thing to do. It's like such a women's thing to do. So I told this to my cousin, who happens to have majored, this one who has a Facebook, and happens to have majored in Talmud at Stern. I told her this joke, I was hoping she was going to take it right. I'm sure she did. But she said to me, that's even not the next cycle. She said there were people in a certain very learned Israeli American community here in outside of Yerushalayim, people who know what that is. They know exactly what I'm talking about. And there, she said the joke is, even now, when little boys will, like bar mitzvah boys will say, they'll say, what Gemara are you learning? He'll say, Gemara, that's for girls. I learn like deeper stuff. So what is that? That's a funny thing. Sarah Schneer would be, she would be having the same conversation and thinking, I wonder what that means. But the interesting thing about this, what I want to tell you about the Daf Yomi, is that, so today they're up to page 19. That means they finished 18 pages, because the Gemara always starts on page 2. Why does the Gemara start on page 2? You know why? Always on Amud Beis, Daf Beis. Daf Beis. Why does it start Daf Beis? Every Gemara starts Daf Beis, Okay, so you should know that you can't know everything. Daf Aleph would mean I'm starting from the beginning to the end. We start Daf Beis like the Torah begins with the Bereshis, the Beis. You can't know everything. There's a lot, before you get to Daf Beis, there's so much that you're never going to know about till Mashiach comes. So acknowledge that you're just going to start on page 2, recognizing that there's Hashem, Aleph, is all the prequel to Daf Beis is Hashem, who knows everything. And we're just starting to share whatever Hashem shares with us, we're going to a little bit learn. They say about the Satmar of Rabbi Yaelish Zatzal. So I have a strong connection to him. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and his sister were friends in Hungary. And he knew my maternal grandmother. So when they all came to, when they came to America, when he got to America, and he found out that my maternal my mother's family survived and came, so he said about my grandmother that the Americans have no idea what kind of a person, anybody who kept mitzvahs from there to here, to America, he said they should kiss the ground where she walks on. That's what the Satmar of Yerushalayim said about my grandmother. And because of that, we had protection. We're able to go see him when my uncle was not well. We were able to go and go into his house and to see them and see whatever. So I don't know. That's my name, Kahan. Kahana. That's the name of that family.
Beautiful autobiography about the niece of the Saba Rav, who talks about how she made it through the Shoah, her husband, and the Rav.
So then I would like to see that, because that's my mother's family's name. Kahan.
Really
Anyway, so they say when he got to America, he went to the Lower East Side, or Williamsburg, one of those, I think Lower East Side. And the Satmar Rebbe, he lost his entire family, he lost the wife and all of his children, I think 12 children. And then he married again, he never had children after that in America. So he came, he had a shul in I think the Lower East Side. And who came? The Sheir Sapleta, who came to his shul? The people who were, like him, except he was a Rebbe from a Rebbe's family, but people came. One who had lost everything, the other one who was half crazy, the other one who was starved, the other one who was angry. They all came to his shul. Nobody looked like Eden, because they all looked like scarecrows and skeletons. And slowly, people came, started to come back to life. And it was his shul. He had a minyan. Before he moved to Williamsburg, he had a little minyan of every type of Jew possible. Not Hasidish, every type. Shevis HaPleita. So, and he would give a shir every morning in Gemara. Or he would give a shir. But before he would start, he would go through everybody, whoever was there. It was not a big group. He would say, okay, how's your uncle? Did you get that job? He would go to every person and ask about what was going on, because he knew everybody's, and did you get the shots? Did you go to the doctor yesterday? Did you take that shot? What did you think? He went through the whole, everybody. It took a very long time. So there was one person in that shul who was very impatient all the time. And he didn't like that the Rebbe did this. He came, he wanted to start minyan, he wanted to start the shir, whatever was going on, that the Rebbe was having this whole Vorspeis beforehand. He wanted to let's get to the main course. So the Rebbe once said to him like this, he said, so the man once complained to him privately, he says, the Rebbe, why are you doing that? And yes, sometimes he asks the same questions every single day, because nothing has changed in that person's life. So the Rebbe said, that's why the Gemara starts in Daf Beis, because Daf Aleph is, Chaim, how do you feel today? And Shmerel, what happened with the shots? And Merel, what happened with the job? That's called Derech Eretz Kadmul Torah. That's why all the start with the Gemara starts with Daf Beis. Yeah, okay. So the irony or the perfect synchronicity of Hashem is that today's Gemara's Yud Tes. Right? That means everybody who started learned a whole 18 pages already of Gemara, or 17. Started in Beis till Yud Ches. That means everybody finished. Today's the 18th, everybody's acquiring the 18th page. Chai. So what's written on that page of Gemara? Listen to this. Ready? Brachas. Page Yud Tet, second side of the page. Amar Rabbi Elazar bar Tzadok. Rabbi Elazar bar Tzadok, who was a Kohen, said the following. Midalgin hayinu al gabe aronot shel metim. We, Kohanim, used to go in the cemetery. Kohanim would go in the cemetery. We would jump on top of the arons, on top of the matzevas, on top of the kvarim. Shel metim likrat malchei Yisrael. If we knew that on the other side of the cemetery, one of the kings was going to be a Jewish king, we would be able to jump on the arons, to get to the other side of the cemetery, so that we could see a Jewish king and make a bracha on the Jewish king. Wait, and then it says, "V'lo likrat malchei Yisrael bilvad," not just for a Jewish king. Amar, ela afil likrat malchei umos ha'olam. We would even, if we heard that there was going to be something going on in Herzl Street, and we were Kohanim, and there was a cemetery between us and Herzl Street, we would jump on each of the graves to see even a Goyish king. I'll explain to you in a second why. Why? He says why. She'im yizkeh. Because if we were worthy, and the Mefarshim say two things, if we were worthy to see the king and we were worthy to see Mashiach, Yavchin ben Malchei Yisrael and Malchei Umas Ha'olam. We'll see the true difference between the honor that comes to a Jewish king and the false honor that's given to the Goyish kings. So when Mashiach comes, or in Olam Haba, there's different opinions about what does it mean when will you be worthy. But whatever it is, if you see the entourage of a non-Jewish king, even a guy, a non-Jewish king, you see the entourage, and you see the kavod and the protection, the police protection, and the lights, and the closing of all the roads, and the standing ups, and 10,000 photographers there. You see that, you think, ooh, that's something interesting. And yet, that's nothing compared. So it's kedai to see a Goyish king, just to see how false the world is, so that when you see Melech HaMashiach, and you see his face is glowing, and he doesn't need any kavod, any external kavod, you'll see the difference between what's a yid and what's a non. Wait, so they say a story in the Gemara that there was a certain Tana, his name was Reb Sheshes, and he was, I guess, older. He was blind. He couldn't see anymore. And so, you mind telling them to a little bit be quiet? So, thank you. Sorry. So there was a king coming, and Reb Sheshes joined the crowd wanting to see the king, but he couldn't see because he was blind. So there was a non-Jew in the crowd. The Gemara tells a story. There was a non-Jew in the crowd who said to him, derogatorily, a snake?
A snake.
A real one?
Can you lock the door?
I'm glad you
No,
went.
real phobia.
Wow. What? It is page Yutes. Today's page. They're going to finish today 18 pages because they start on page 2. They always start on page base. Okay, that's why they're all screaming. There's a snake in the hole. Okay, so this Apikoros said to this Reb Sheshes to like an insult. What are you doing here? You can't see anything anyway. See, so Reb Sheshes says, I see better than you. You'll see, I see better than you. And so the Gemara says that the king was coming, and there was the entourage, and the first set of the entourage came, like the noisemakers and dancers and jesters and turning table salts and all that. And the guy said out loud, he exclaimed, "Oh, here comes the king!" And Reb Sheshes said to himself, "No, that's not the king." And then that passed, and everybody was like looking for the king. No king. Second group came. There was a second group that came, and they were musicians, and they were also trumpeters and everything. And the min said to the proclaimed out loud, "Oh, here comes the king!" And Reb Sheshes says, "No, that's not good. That's not the king." And then they passed, and then all of a sudden there was a solemn silence. You know the story? There was a solemn silence, and the min is like looking, craning his head to see like what's going on. Where's the king? And the Reb Sheshes says, "Here's the king." And he said, so he didn't say physically, but he understood. Seeing something is to understand that a real king doesn't need acrobats and doesn't need. The real king is like when Hashem appeared on Har Sinai, right? Called him Mamadaka in a quiet, dignified, powerful way. So how interesting is it that today's Daf Yomi, and today is when we're having all the kings coming. Wow. So tell me, when they arranged this ceremony, or did they look in the Daf Yomi? Did anybody arrange it with the Daf? No. Hashem is the coordinator. Hashem is saying to the Daf Yomi people, one of the things I read into it. Hashem is giving a hug to all the people learning Daf Yomi, because they're going to read this today, whether they learned it last night, the night shiur, or they're going to learn it today, and they're going to say, wait a minute, that's exactly what's happening in Yerushalayim HaKodesh today, and Hashem's going to say, there you go. See, and I'm going to talk to you through the Parsha and through the Daf Yomi, whatever you're learning. I felt it was a hug to the Jewish people because of how Hashem is so proud of us. learning Daf Yomi. Now, why is it, by the way, parenthetically, for all of you halachic minds, how come they was allowed to do this? How come the Kohanim were allowed to go? Oh, that's what you were questioning. So the Mefarshim explain that the way they buried them in those days was that the coffins, they buried them particularly with the aron that the person was in had a space between the body and the cover of the aron. There was a space. There was a halachically large enough space so that if B'di Eved, a Kohen, would step on it, it wouldn't be considered mitamehim B'di Eved. So that the Gemara says, why? Because let's say in a cemetery, a Kohen's allowed to go Daled Amos away from a kever, right? 6 feet, 4 amot, 6 feet away from a cemetery. A Kohen's allowed to go even lechatchila, because a dead body only has presence over Daled Amos, 4 amos, which is approximately 6 to 8 feet. So. And the way that they buried in those days was that Kohanim, because perhaps, I don't know the details of how the cemeteries were, but it seems that the Aron was above ground, or maybe there was like a tombstone on top of the Aron that was above ground, like we have now, the same kinds of Arons that we have right above. What? Okay, but this was an Aron. He's talking about maybe it means a tombstone. Right, maybe it means a tombstone, because we don't use an aron here, but maybe it means a tombstone. Whatever it was that was surrounding the body was made in such a way halachically that it was enough space on top that if someone would step on top, it wouldn't be mitame lechatchila or b'diavad. So, okay, so that you're right, Chani. Now listen to me. I think I'm going to say my own opinion here. Everyone could reject it, but I'm going to tell you something. Thank you for saying that. Because Chani said, well, maybe it's a mashal to something deeper, something else. So let me tell you something. Last week, I mentioned in one of my classes that I think I mentioned it here also, if you cheshbon out the years that we have until the year 6000, we have 220 years left. And the Zohar says that 210 years is going to be taken up with Chiyas HaMesim, and that whole process, whatever that means. And so we have, and Mashiach has to come before Tchias HaMesim, bring all the Jews back to Israel, fix the world, bring peace, kill Amalek. All that has to happen within 10 years, right? Like, yeah, we have, it's going to be a very busy upcoming 10 years. So if that's the case, yeah, well, that's where, everybody's saying that. It's not just Rabbi Kesson. Everybody's saying that. The Zohar says that. So the first person I ever heard say that was Rabbi Pinchas Winston from Telstone, right? Sure. And I heard him say that already 18 years ago. So I noticed that if that's the case, if we have the next 10 years, they're going to be busy with all this stuff, then if it takes a 7.5-year cycle, the next Siyam Hashas in 7.5 years, Mashiach is going to have been here already.
Wow.
Because we have 10 more years for him to do, according to this calculation. Now again, Hashem is above calculations and all of that. We have no idea till it happens where we're up to. But according to this reading and this teaching, the last Siyam Hashas is going to be now. The next time is going to be Siyam Hashas. Is going to be the last Siyam Hashas before Tchias HaMesim. And it's going to be during the time of Mashiach's being here, and the world's going to be changing, and that's why I'm thinking maybe that's why people are in such a hype, because they might not know this particular calculation, but maybe their neshama knows. Like, if I don't start now, I'm not going to get it in before the bell rings. Once Mashiach comes, there's a whole different way of measuring. So I thought that was my thought. So one of the women who was at the class, her husband goes to a shir with Rav Pinchas Winston. So he mentioned it at this class. He mentioned, my wife had a class, and this is what the lady said. And so Rav Pinchas Winston said, there's a qualification to that. He says, I'm going to qualify what she said. That when Mashiach comes, we're going to continue to learn Daf Yomi. We're going to continue to learn Shas. But we'll really know what it's talking about. First of all, we'll remember it. And we're going to see the layers. Like you said, there must be something deeper to this. Like, why would anybody jump on top of Aaron's? And was there indeed an actual story when there was a king on the other side? And did he actually do it? Was there a Jewish king? Like, did this really happen? Or is this a mashal to something? That's what Hani said. And the answer is, so Rav Winston said, when Mashiach comes, our eyes will be peeled away, the blinders that we have right now, the fog that was on our eyes, the cataracts that we all have on our eyes that don't allow us to see really the next levels of Torah, it's going to be just evaporated. And we'll be able to see really the depth of what Torah is, because if the Torah is Hashem's names, that's what it says in the Zohar, the Torah is just a string of letters of God's names. So it must be, and then that string of letters, comes into words and comes into stories, but there must be something so much deeper than what we're getting at. And so in Geula, the exile that we're in now, we're doing the best that we can, just learning Pshat and keeping Torah and Halacha. But when Mashiach comes, what does it mean, Umalah haaretz deya et Hashem? That all day long we're going to be learning Torah. I once said that to one of my classes, they almost fainted. It was when I was living still in America, and it was high school girls, and they said, really, we'll be in school? That's what we're going to be doing, the rest of eternity? So I said, that's going to be a different kind of learning. I said to them, I'll give you an example. Wouldn't you like to learn now how to read minds? Or how to do mental telepathy, or how to do all the stuff you see in science fiction movies, beam me up, Scotty, go put your feet in a certain place and push a button, and all of a sudden you're a second later you're in America, or you're on the moon, or that kind of stuff. They say, oh yeah, that's cool. And I said, that's the kind of stuff we'll be learning. It's not going to be tedious, like you have it now. It's hard for people to learn. It'll be a pleasure. It'll be something pleasurable. And so, yes, I think it means something much deeper. What does it mean? Anybody can say now. We don't know. But that's what's going to be when Mashiach comes. And that's why I think that's why there's such a... So Rabbi Winston said, we'll understand it and we'll remember it. Because you know what? When they say, there's a whole debate. Yes, Daf Yomi, no Daf Yomi. You say it so quickly because they have to have a 45-minute shiur so the men can get to work. So on one hand, they have to have kfiyas itim. They have to be kovei. A man has to be kovei itim l'Torah. He has to make a set time every single day to learn. It's not about whether he remembers it or not, whether he understands it or not. It's just how much effort he makes. Soak. You have to work hard. So, but anybody, unless you're reviewing a Daf Yomi, you don't remember in a 45-minute shiur when you're just listening. Some of those shiurim, the men come, they should all be blessed, and the rabbi or the teacher teaches, and they're all they're looking, they're just reading along. So afterwards, do they reread it? I don't know. Do they learn it? I don't know. But whatever it is, if that's your whole thing, unless you have photographic memory, you're not going to remember everything. Even the Daf Yomi rabbis say that they don't remember from cycle to cycle. The ones who, not everybody remembers. He said,
depends on what they do.
It depends. You're right. It depends. Everything depends. But Rabbi Winston said, we're not going to forget. Like you said before, I said, why is it on Daf Beis? He said, I remember learning it, but I don't remember it. Mm-hmm. When Mashiach comes, we're going to remember it. We're going to see the relevance. Whatever we're doing, we'll remember an appropriate Devar Torah. You're going to the store, you'll remember the appropriate Devar Torah in whatever sefer it is that exists, how I'm supposed to behave now, what my attitude is supposed to be, what the halachas are.
You'll have perfect clarity.
Clarity, recall, the whole bit. Be'ezrat Hashem.
So I want to ask, maybe you know the answer. Another reason for doing the Shas is that it says that whatever you learn here, you'll
right now. Hashem will teach it to you in Shemayim.
But when there was a discussion...
Wait, let me just say what that is. So you all ladies know that? It says in the... Where does it say that sefer? Where does it say that? I think it's a medrash. I think it's a medrash that says that Hashem said, don't worry if you don't understand it and if you don't remember it. When you come, after 120, I'm going to be your personal Rebbe. Mm-hmm. Hashem says, I'll teach you. You just have to have the book. If you bring the book into Shemayim, then I'll teach you what it means. What does it mean to bring the book to Shemayim? It doesn't mean you can take anything in hand. It means you learn it once, and then I'll teach you. I'll explain to you. Yes, so.
And then there was a discussion before the Siyum HaShas, how cold it was going to be or stuff like that. So one person said something that I didn't know. Somebody wrote a letter to the editor, and he said, why didn't they think of it last time when the Siyum HaShas was in the summer? They knew that it was going to come out in the winter, and the way to avoid it is there are a certain amount of masachtas that are dapim, whatever, that are skipped, that are not part of the cycle. If you add that, it would always be in the summer.
Ah,
It could be a full year.
wow.
How come it's not in the thing? He didn't explain why, he just wrote it as a fact.
Oh, I don't know.
Did you hear about it?
I don't know that.
So
I did hear that.
Some dapim that are not included in the cycle.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know.
Ask someone.
You could ask your
Why is
son-in-law.
that?
I don't know, but I could tell you that there are some who finish it in 7 years, not in 7.5 years. So I don't know. Maybe there's different. Listen, bichlal, if you even think what ladies, I don't know if any of you have been privileged to learn Gemara, but if you even know what Gemara is, your mind would explode from how they did that. How, without computers, did they collect hundreds of thousands of statements of different Tanaim and Amorim, and then reconstruct them all, like, oh, he said that, and he said that someplace else. He must have meant, and make a whole, it's crazy. The Gemara is absolutely, impossibly gigantic. And that's not yet even Zohar. The Gemara is called Nigla. So I don't know how they did that, and I don't know what they skip, and I don't know what they include. And I also know that the guy was making a speech. One of the speeches I heard, he said, like, what happens if you miss a day? Should you catch up? Then you'll never be on the right day, or should you? So one said, no, don't catch up. Just one day you'll catch up. You just continue with whatever they're up to. You just continue with that. I don't know how they do that, but you could ask. I don't know what they skip, what they don't skip, what they include, what they don't include. I don't know. It's a good thing to know, but I will tell you, ladies, for those of you who are past, let's say, 45 years old, is anybody here? Is anybody here under 45 years old? So, okay, so, one very good, they say that when you get past a certain age, you should do a new hobby. Yeah?
Okay.
You ever learned that? So some people do like, they do knitting or crocheting or beading. You could learn a little bit of Aramaic. Not going to hurt anybody. Learn a little bit of Mishnah. Pirkei Avos is Mishnah. There's a lot of things that you could learn that are within the allowed. Even the most Haredi will in the allowed. Take up a new something new. It's good to even just to learn a new sefer. Learn Mesilas Yesharim. There's an English translation. Learn the siddur, which I'm going to try to teach you. Learn the words of the siddur. Learn anything new. Anything new is important to learn. So keep your mind going, and to start the new cycle of all the Jews are learning something new now. So jump onto that bandwagon. Okay, that's all. That's introduction. Oh yeah, one thing else I want to say. This is the name of Rav Shmuel Eliyahu, the Rav Rashi of Tzfat, and the Rav of the Churva Shul. So he said that lest anyone think that this is just a silly photo app, this text tomorrow. He said that this is a pre-Geula event, because it says in the Navi that all the v'naharu, like a nahar, to flow. V'naharu, all the nations, all the kings of the world, when Mashiach comes, will flow, will come to Yerushalayim HaKodesh to give her honor, and to want to meet the Melech HaMashiach, and to want to get under the umbrella of the good graces of the Jewish people. The word v'naharu, they'll flow like a nahar. All the kings will flow to Eretz Yisrael. So he said, even though we haven't yet, we don't know, we're not yet we're in a pre-Geula, and this is like a practice. That's what he said. So and he said, so it's going to be fun today, it's going to be kef, all the buses are going to be, off, on, what, yes, no, and all the Americans are here because it's Yeshiva week. Did you know that? So again, you don't know these things. I'll just keep you informed in the rest of the world. Now you're a foreign correspondent. So in America, they have 1 week off, midwinter vacation, it's called. Or they call it Yeshiva week, and all except for the most Haredi schools give off a whole entire week, because they don't give off Hanukkah, because it doesn't work in with the schedules in New York and New Jersey and the East Coast and Florida and Baltimore and LA, which are the big, and Chicago. That's the big cycles, the big places. But all the other yeshivas give off. And so many people go traveling, and there's a lot of Americans here now. A lot. Go walk in Geula, you'll hear every other name. I had to teach on Monday in town, so it was pouring raining, as you all know, and I had to get onto the to get home. And I was teaching you the Shuk Machane Yehuda. And who's in Shuk Machane Yehuda? No Israelis. Because it was a rainy day, and it's a Monday. You don't go on Monday because the produce isn't yet, and you don't go when it's raining. So there were no Israelis. Everybody was American. Americans walking in the shuk because they were all here, and that was their. They all came Sunday, and they're here now. Yeah, but this was during the day. It was during the day, and so a lot of chutznikim are here now. You should just know it's good. Smile to everybody. Yeah.
What do you think that the reason or impetus, catalyst, is that they're here to commemorate a tragedy in Jewish history?
Okay, so listen, it has to be. Listen to me. Listen, it's
so much Holocaust denial.
it says exactly. It says in Sfarim. It says actually in the Daf Yomi also. I think recently I read this someplace that it said what happens in planet Earth is a reflection of what's going on in Shemayim. That means in Shemayim, today and tomorrow, all the Nisi, all the angels of all the countries of the world are coming near Hashem. Because what does that mean? And to acknowledge their avla, the crime against the Jewish people. What does that mean? Because it says that every nation in the world has a sar, has an angel, in Shemayim, has an angel. And who is the sar of Israel? Hashem. We get straight, direct Hashem. We don't have any angels, nothing. So all the angels of the that's why it says, these midrashim, it says that the angel Mitzrayim said they were idol worshippers and they were idol worshippers. So why are you letting them cross the Yam Suf and them drown? Right? Because every angel, every country has its representative in Shemayim. So today and tomorrow, they're all next to Hashem, apologizing or acknowledging the crime of the Holocaust. So what does that mean? Everything to me is Mashiach. To me, it's all Mashiach Geulazik. How, what, where, we'll see only after it's over.
Every country has what her tone.
Every country include. That's right. They didn't let us come in. They didn't let us take enough. They didn't let us in at all. Britain didn't let us in here. They've sent
back the.
And by the way, the British royal family is getting big patches. Now you see, right? Yeah. That's what you wanted to talk about last week. The British, they're big patches. That what happened last week, that the little prince wanted to be half a prince. Now they kicked him out of being a prince. No longer can he be a prince. He has to go and he wants to do his own. And now there's all kinds of. It's a good thing. Well, whatever they say so much lashon hara about themselves. So now they're scrutinizing all the family members in that royal family to see what tricks they've been doing. Because it seems that the prince who left and his wife, who seems to have not been mistader, they want to set up money, they want to do business and might make a lot of money and be independent. Okay, that's their choice, whatever. But now they're making a magnifying glass on every one of the people who ever did that in the royal family, and they're saying, this one made a commercial, this one sold his wedding pictures, this one is doing this one's doing that. And it's bushas. It's such an humiliation. It's such an embarrassment. They're doing it to themselves. So the British Malchus is getting a little patch. Yeah, I know you like her, but